Hello there, wonderful people. We are back in the franchise mode. We are back in my park, and last episode we have been taking care of the hippo, and this episode we are not actually going to talk about a Gharial quite yet. You will see that I will put a Gharial in, but this is more or less for testing reasons. What we are doing is we are building this viewing island, and yes, it deserves a whole episode because it took me ages to get this to work. There were a few things I wanted to definitely have over here, but it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to, simply because all the water volumes and the pathing and like everything which is finicky in the game came together to create this island and make it look nice. I ended up with a solution that I'm pretty happy with. I ended up trying a few things to improve the sidelines, but yet make it look like a little island in the middle that fits into this river area. And then I changed a bit also about the river itself, and yeah, not too much though, but a little bit, and also made sure that we get some money over here. Now, while you look at the footage, let me just talk you through my thoughts about the franchise mode in the beta. So I will obviously do a review video anyways, but the thing about this is I was actually when I heard that the beta is not coming with the sandbox mode, I was like, oh god, help me. Then I played the franchise mode the first days, and I was super frustrated because I couldn't get anything to work, simply because I had no reason how it works. So delay designer, hopefully you're listening. Thanks a bunch again for helping me out, because without your help I wouldn't have done it. She basically did something very clever. She didn't record from the first second. She basically jumped in the game and played it for herself without any pressure or it's not a pressure, recording is not a pressure at all. When I record, I'm most likely just playing exactly the same as I would. The only difference is when I play in a completely new game I'm not experienced in, it always creates that little bit of, okay, now I played for half an hour, I didn't do anything, I can just basically throw away the recording. That's kind of the thoughts you have. So it's very clever to not do that from the get-go. But since the beta time was so limited, also for me, since I only had a half a day off at the first day of beta, I wanted obviously to create as much content as possible, simply because I was so hyped. And I ended up doing stuff that didn't work out, and I threw away a few hours, which would have been way more clever to use these hours to play the game. Now, with that experience in mind now, I have to say the franchise mode is the greatest thing they could have come up with. Yes, it has a lot of flaws. Yes, it has a lot of balancing issues. And yes, there has to be a lot to be improved about this. But the idea about the franchise mode as kind of an improved challenge mode is awesome. I really enjoy playing it, and honestly, I even would love to have it even more complicated. It will get a lot more tough when there is disease integrated into it as well, and even though people complain about the fact that there is no disease management in this game, holy heck no, I would have been not happy with the disease management right now, because I would have been even more to consider. The sheer depth of the management aspect in the franchise mode, but in general in the game, is awesome. Yes, I do agree to most, and I also rambled about this a little bit and ranted. The zookeepers are not doing their job properly, because sometimes they just stalk, they got idle, they whatever they do, but they don't do what they are supposed to do. Yes, this is a bit of a tricky thing, and it should be, fixed, but this is balancing and fixing issues. I'm pretty sure they will be able to do. I don't have any doubt, to be fair, they will fix it. Now, what does this then offer to you? Well, it offers a whole experience to create a zoo where you have to manage everything, but at the same time you can get creative because you're making a lot of money, and also the game rewards you by this wonderful view of stuff. And actually it even feels better to create all this stuff now, having researched this on my own, having gathered the money on my own, having a running zoo. And honestly, this is how it should be, and it creates automatically a more realistic zoo, a more organic zoo, because you cannot go in and plan everything ahead and just do everything exactly the way you wanted it because you have infinite money. This actually puts you on a spot. This actually makes you think about your actions a bit more and create habitats that are not only functional but also good for the animal, looking good, and at the same time making you money. So in sandbox mode, you don't really need to care about that, and we will see a lot of great things, and potentially the sandbox mode will again be the mode to go for me. I'm quite sure about that. However, the thing I wanted to let you know is that I have been convinced by the franchise mode. If the balancing goes even better, and if the rewards for taking part in the different challenges are even better and more accessible and more understandable, and if they get the trading a bit better to work, it will be huge. It will be so amazing, because you just can't get any animal. You will have to work for it, and the fact putting an animal in your zoo feels so much more rewarding then. It feels so much more alive. It feels so much more real if you just worked hours and hours for having enough conservation credits to finally get yourself the rectangle, or whatever, the ringtail lemur, for example. That's maybe the giraffe, whatever. But that one animal you wanted to have for a while, and then you're spending all the money, all your patience, all your love to this one habitat you wanted to build for your giraffe. But at the same time, you want to make sure that this giraffe obviously enjoys its area as much as possible, so the welfare is really great, and your people pay the money. That's what you need to do, because you need the money. So it is really great. I think the idea about this is more than great, and also the execution is already pretty good. The balancing, again, as I said, has to be improved, but yeah, I'm confident. I'm sure they will do it. Now, that was my little talk about the franchise mode and why I think it's a great addition to the Planet franchise, and I believe it could actually be implemented to, if there will be a Planet Coaster 2 or whatever, but it could be a thing that you have in there as well. Obviously, it needs to be a bit tweaked, because no animals, I guess. But yeah, still, you could be about coasters or entertainments and stuff, and it still would work. Anyways, now I wanted to have some shops on that island, because I felt like people coming to this island potentially don't want to be without food or without drinks or without anything else. So I wanted to make this happen. However, it was really a hard task to do, since the game, again, as I said, I struggled a lot with the terrain around here and also the water volume. So you will see in a bit that I really struggled to get the shops in. I, at the end, succeeded to have the shops at some spots, because fortunately enough, you don't need to connect them to the path always. It sometimes just works without. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But yeah, you can see the island slowly is taking shape, and I'm super happy it does, because I was a bit worried that the island doesn't look the way I wanted it to look, and I also wanted to make sure that the Gharial cannot escape over here, so I was basically paying some attention to it. In the meantime, yeah, sometimes I always have some issues here and there, and I'm just fixing those issues. People were not proving my area over here, and I think we wanted to check out if the hippo is pregnant. Then it finally got pregnant, and I wanted to see if the belly got thicker, but it didn't really get any thicker. So yeah, I don't know what it exactly was. Now, again, what I just said a few moments ago, we wanted to have some food shops on top of this build over here, and here we go. I was trying it, and I wasn't finding the right spot. No matter what I tried, even though I found a spot here now, I couldn't connect the path, so I will end up putting them somewhere else. But I just wanted to leave that in just to show you again how much of a struggle. Like, as I said, you now have the 3 ingredients of death over here. You have a shop, you have the path system, and you have the water volume. It's insane. It's like the game is just like, no, you're not doing it this way. You're not. I just couldn't get in. The moment I deleted the path, it worked. And I was like, okay, maybe it's because the barrier is not high enough. I tested to raise the barrier, and it didn't work. So again, I tested different things. Is it because of not being glass? Okay, I tested it all making glass. No, it isn't. Then I was like, okay, what shall I do? And I ended up just redoing it, everything. I was testing to put a path down again, it worked. So yeah, I was like, okay, I need to put the shop somewhere else. And I first of all covered up this area a bit more with some stones, just to have this not looking too ugly. Yeah, I mean, at the end it looks fairly okay, but still there needs a bit more foliage to be in. It just needs to be overall a bit more nice looking at the end, when there are more trees and a bit more shade, to make this island really look like an island. But you can see now I finally found the spot where to put them. I was like, okay, cool, I can't connect them. You guessed why. The water volume is still the problem, why I couldn't connect the path. It's weird. If I delete the water volume, it just didn't work out. Then I needed to put down another source of energy. Finally, I was moving that that staff path over here into this new area, which will be the facility area around the floating island. I was just quickly testing, and people were using the shops. I wanted to get rid of the railing. Also, this didn't work out because of the water volume. I was like, you know what? Just screw it. Just screw it. I don't care. It was just like, okay, whatever. They can get their stuff, so it's fine. I will cover this up with scenery later, and then we have fine to say. The funny part is I always say, like, I'm doing that later. But in fact, I don't even know how much I can do even in this park. It's now, I'm pre-recording a few days, so maybe until Monday I'm able to kind of build even more in this park and hopefully call it a day on Monday evening and then just do some final recordings of it, because on next Tuesday, they are taking away the beta from us. It's so sad. It's like working under this time pressure is really like, I don't know, just leave me with the game, please. Yeah, before we go on in the next episode with the actual Gharial habitat, you can see that I'm now doing the work that has to be done, and this is the making some proper fencing around here. And at the end of this I figured, you know what would be pretty cool? To have an underwater gallery over here in this corner. So I was like, hey, this looks nice. Shall we not do like an underwater gallery anyways? I was like fixing a few things about the fence here, and then all of a sudden I was like building, and people were like in the chat, hey, what about an underwater viewing gallery here? And I was like, this idea is not too bad, you know, maybe we should do it. And here, that's exactly the moment where I was like, okay, this makes sense, doesn't it? So let's put it down. And I think in the end it will look absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I was just digging whole ground down here, so we have a nicer area where we can put down the underwater viewing gallery. I wanted to make it really connected to the path area as much as possible, yet I needed to make sure that this all looks nice and tidy. It doesn't at the end of this episode, but it will hopefully look as soon as I fix this. Well, I did fix this already, so don't you worry about that. It'll appear hopefully tomorrow on the channel. If I counted correctly, today is Sunday with this episode. And tomorrow evening, and maybe today evening, tonight, I will be streaming again from this park. And yeah, I hope to see you all there. If you haven't been learning about my Twitch yet, make sure also to subscribe to the Twitch channel, or follow. You don't need to subscribe there, to follow this channel, to make sure that you catch up when I'm live streaming, because as I said, I barely even stream on YouTube since I just feel so much more comfortable on Twitch. And I think it's fair to say that Twitch also offers a few more things that live streamers just enjoy more. But yeah, I would love to see you there eventually. So yeah, you can see it's now very easy to build these kind of water volumes with the fences. I love how the game tackles that. I don't even know how they did this. I don't even want to know it. The only thing I know is it works, and I'm happy about that, so that's fine. Now this is exactly the area we have. I'm just smoothing out a few bits and pieces here to make this all look nice. And then I had a moment of glory after I figured that this null fence on top here is the main issue why I couldn't put down the path. So I was connecting this to the actual glass border, because the Gharial can't move out of this anyway. So I just thought, okay, let's just use this fence and we're good to go. Just connecting this over here, so it made the habitat finished again. It was a bit tricky to find it, but yeah, at the end I've succeeded. Yeah, now it's very crowdy all over the place. I still don't know why it is that crowdy. I was just putting some of the families out of there, and just to make sure it just works, and just fixing some issues. Sorry for not cutting that out. I'm just all over the place because sometimes it's just so weird. But yeah, I had a moment of glory. This is now happening. After I had some struggle to put down the path, it just for whatever reason worked out so super well with the freaking staircase. I really don't get it. I really don't know why. I was figuring so many things, and I don't even have words for it. It just, normally, it's absolutely ridiculous to build these kind of connections. But for whatever reason, the game just decided to, boom, here we go. Here you get it. It's easy. Use it. And I was like, okay. I'm not used to having this kind of smooth operation with the pathing. It was just so easy to do it. I was like, okay, no, well, I just use it. And everyone in the chat was like, that's not the path system of Planet Zoo. It's not. It cannot be. It cannot be. But it is. So yeah, I was pretty happy about it, and it just worked out fairly amazing. Now, the last thing I'm doing is to build that shop. It crashes at the end, and I needed to rebuild the shop. So this is where I am now, leaving you guys alone with the rest of the music. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you again in the live stream tonight or tomorrow night. I'm not even sure when exactly, maybe both evenings, but Monday for sure. Make sure to jump over if you want to see this, and also check out the other videos on the channel. There's a whole lot of content available of Planet Zoo. Until the next time, guys, have a really awesome day, and I'll need to catch you up in the next one. Bye, guys. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching this video, I really do appreciate that. As always, make sure to check out also my social media channels. You can find me everywhere under @Rudi_Rennkamel. Also, big thanks to the crew, you can see it on the left hand side right now. And as always, if you want to see more, you click that card on the top right. And if you want to stick around because you like the stuff you've just saw, whatever, you know what I mean, just click that sub button, which is to the bottom right of the screen right now. But everything else I can say is have a great time and see you next time. Bye guys.